What's up, Multiverse? Dr. Dave here. Welcome to the Geek Lounge. This past weekend, we attended Northern Ireland Comic Con at the Icon Centre. back in the Geek Lounge, as you guys can see. We got home yesterday, I think it was about 7 p.m. Our flight was delayed. It was like 3 hours, maybe like 2 hours 40 minutes, something like that, 2 hours 50 minutes. They closed the airspace in London, of course, because of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's funeral. Our flight was supposed to like depart, I think it was like 12:30 maybe, something like that, and it didn't go to like 3 something. We weren't alone either, because Andy Secombe, Jorge Vargas Jr., I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Michael Cudlitz were all on our same flight going to London. In fact, we actually sat pretty much like opposite Michael Cudlitz in Starbucks while we were waiting. We didn't strike up a conversation. I always kind of feel a bit weird, you know, when you've had a Comic-Con, right? And you've had a chance to like meet the celebrities, you know, the stars, you've had a chance to get an autograph, a photo or whatnot, and then you're like bothering them in the airport. You know, I personally kind of feel that's a little bit uncool. You know, if it wasn't, you know, if we just saw him randomly there in the airport, like, you know, not associated to any Comic-Con or anything like that, probably would have just said, hello, you know, I'm a big fan, blah, 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 that's it, and sort of, you know, move on. Let me know in the comments section below, what do you guys kind of feel whenever you kind of like see a celebrity in public? Do you get starstruck? You know, would you go up and say hello, or would you just not bother them? As for the con itself, guys, I had a really, really good time. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought I'd just put that montage together for you so you could see, you know, what was going on, all the various things that were there. You know, in terms of the positives for me, I thought the guest list was really, really good. You know, we had cast members from the Vampire Diaries, Gotham, The Walking Dead, Sons of Anarchy, which was cool for me. I'm a huge Sons of Anarchy fan. It's definitely within like my top 5 shows of all time. They had some wonderful voiceover actors, as well as a plethora of other like stars from TV, movies, etc, etc. They had a ton of props from the likes of Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Harry Potter. They had the like Bumblebee and police cars from Transformers, which, you know, you guys would have seen if you did just watch the montage. If I had to go with like a few negatives, I would say I didn't feel there were enough like independent traders, you know, stores and people like selling their wares and such. I thought that was actually a little limited in my opinion. Maybe I am unfairly, you know, comparing to the likes of London or like any other kind of like established Comic-Con, because if you guys didn't know, this is actually Monopoly Events' first Comic-Con in Northern Ireland, and it seemed to go, you know, really, really well. Everyone did seem to enjoy themselves. But yeah, like I said, I felt the stores, that there could have been more. A couple of the complaints that I did see on social media, a lot of people actually said it wasn't like spaced out enough. The stores were like too narrow, and it's like you were jammed in like sardines and, you know, struggling to see what people were selling. I would tend to agree with that, but at the same time, I've kind of experienced that at, you know, cons throughout my life. I'm going to Comic-Cons probably like 10, 12 years now, and I feel it's generally always the same. You know, you are always going to have space issues. I mean, they had quite a lot of space, of course, where the guests could queue for autographs and like selfies and meeting the guests and whatnot. You've always got to allow for some room for that, right? For queuing, you know, queuing, especially here in the UK, is, you know, it's a big part of what we do, right? But you have to allow that space. Yeah, I'd like to see more stores next time. In terms of like Funko Pops, you know, we do a lot of Funko Pops on this channel. I have to say I was very, very disappointed with like the Funko Pop selection at the con. That's nothing really to do with the con. That's more to kind of do with like the independent traders, right? But typically at cons, you know, because we had like limited suitcase space, you know, things to take back with us, I didn't really want to pick up too much, and I really wasn't going to this Comic-Con for, you know, purely buying Funko Pops, right? So that like wasn't our intention, but I do always like to do Funko Pop hunting, and I was, you know, thinking of doing a Funko Pop hunting at Northern Ireland Comic Con video. But pretty much what you guys saw in that montage, there were a few other stores, but I just didn't bother, you know, taking too much footage because the selection was very disappointing. I mean, Forbidden Planet International, I did expect them to just really have the kind of newer stuff that we saw in the Funko Pop hunt I did. That was our last video, by the way. Do check that out if you haven't, because we found some pretty decent stuff on the hunt, but then it was really just more of the same at Comic-Con, which I thought was very disappointing. And then Comic Book Guys, I thought was one of the coolest stores that we did, or that we went to in that Funko Pop hunt. And they had some really cool like vaulted things, and the guys there actually said to me that they've, packed a lot of things away for the con, some really good things. And then I kind of disagree. I feel they left their best stock in the store, really, or at least in my opinion. But yeah, I'd certainly like to see more Funko Pop variety in the future. The other thing that people said, there were like a few people said that the disabled access, particularly for, well, I don't think they said particular. I think they said only for like the Q&A and like stage panels was a bit poor, because there wasn't like an area where they could, they could go and kind of see the guests. They were pretty much stuck behind, especially if it was a popular one like The Walking Dead, Gotham, Vampire Diaries. They were all very kind of popular panels, Sons of Anarchy as well, and they were pretty much stuck behind and really couldn't see the guests and were really just kind of listening to them. I agree with that. I think they could have done like something down the side where anybody who is unfortunately disabled, wheelchair bound, etc., could kind of see the guests a little bit more. I certainly think that that's something they could have done. The biggest negative or like criticism that people had is like getting to and from the Icon Center, because it's kind of a little bit out there. A lot of people, or a lot of the guests I should say, were like mistakenly saying, oh yeah, it's great being here in Belfast, etc, etc, because the Icon Centre actually isn't in Belfast, it's in the next town over in Lisbon, but then it is a little bit out the way. It's not like central, to like the station, the bus station, the central area of Lisbon. It's only like from Belfast, and it was like a 20 or 30 minute drive to get to the Icon Centre, so it's not like horrendous. And then from like Lisbon, it is like the central part of Lisbon, it is like a 6 or 7 minute drive, so again, not horrendous, but there's not really any public transport out there. I think there was like this bus, but it was like very, very infrequent. I think it was a 15-minute walk away from the venue, which again, it's not like horrendous, but like I said, I think the bus is infrequent. So yeah, I just think they need to really do something in terms of like a shuttle bus from the centre, something like that, because yeah, if you don't drive, it is actually pretty difficult to, well, not difficult, it's just inconvenient to get to, right? So I definitely think they should be putting on a shuttle bus. Saying that, I did actually speak to one of our taxi drivers, who might I add, actually, the people of Northern Ireland, very kind, very courteous, very like knowledgeable about the area and everything. I have so many good things to say about the Northern Irish, and I've always been a stickler for the accent anyway. But yeah, he said he spoke to one of the guys, I don't know if it was like the head honcho or like one of the organisers from Monopoly Events, who said that the Icon Centre had actually been leased for 5 years, because the ticket sales for this first one were very, very positive, especially like the initial ticket sales. So they've actually leased it for 5 years, so it is going to be coming again next year. I think they've already mentioned on their socials, I think it was yesterday evening, that they're already planning for next year and kind of sourcing dates and whatnot with the Icon Centre. I think they did also announce there were 22,000 people that attended the event over the weekend, so I think it was very, very successful, especially for a first Comic-Con. Like I said, Monopoly Events, it was their first event. They're already like well established in Liverpool, Manchester, Scotland. I think the Scotland Comic-Con, I think if I'm not mistaken, is like 3 weeks, right? I think it's like the 8th or 9th of October. Ewan McGregor's going to be there. But yeah, guys, overall, very, very positive. I really did enjoy myself. Onto the things that I picked up. You guys saw, I think I did one shot there of like some Lego minifigures. There are a lot of custom minifigures, and I did actually end up picking, well, we got 8 here. So I actually picked up a bunch, or say a bunch, 4 Demon Slayer custom minifigures. I'm actually having to reach a little bit. I should have put them a bit closer. So here we go, guys. I'll obviously give you guys closer looks at these. We have Rengoku, Giyu, Nezuko, and Mitsuri. They did have a Tanjiro, but I actually bought these on the second day, and Tanjiro had already sold out. There was another store that had one of him in like the training outfit, but I decided not to pick it up. These were, I think they were £3 each or 4 for £10. I thought they looked pretty cool. They're not like absolutely amazing sort of, custom minifigures, but they are still very, very cool. When I say amazing, I think they're like the printing on the torsos and whatnot are very good. I just kind of feel the face printings, at least on a couple of them, are not so great. Maybe even the hair is not great. I think the Rengoku one personally looks the best, if I'm being honest. But yeah, still really, really cool. I thought a really, really good price. And then I did also end up picking up some Spider-Man ones as well to go with my Daily Bugle set. And so I picked up the Iron Spider from Infinity War, the black and gold suit from No Way Home. I think this is the Tobey Maguire one, if I'm not mistaken, as well as a Miles Morales with the mask, kind of tipped up over his head. They did also have some head molds there, as you guys can see, Peter Parker head molds. The interesting thing is as well, I kind of felt these heads were pretty big, you know, in like just very sort of round, right? And I was thinking, is that how Spider-Man figures actually are? And it's actually not. You can actually pull these off, and you do get the kind of traditional head with the stud underneath, and that is actually how the Spider-Man figures are. I was comparing it to some of the others that I had in that Daily Bugle set. But yeah, I thought it was kind of a nice addition. I think these are like kind of, they're still customized slightly from like official releases and whatnot, but yeah, like I said, I wanted to get some more Star Wars ones to add to that, Spider-Man ones to add to that Daily Bugle set. And I said earlier, guys, I got some things signed. I actually got 7 Funko Pop signed. We'll start with the anime ones. This is Uchako Uraraka that was signed by the voice actress Lucy Christian. Very, very cool. She wrote here, "I'll see you in the final." She did ask me what I wanted on there, and I like came up with something, and then I forgot as I really got up to her. So I said, just pick one that you like, and she did. Yeah, "I'll see you in the final" sign there. Very, very bright, but a very, very vibrant, pardon me. Also a very vibrant person. She was very, very cool, very, very talkative. All of these 3 ladies were, you know, super, super nice, super, super cool. This was Monica Rial, who of course voices Suyu in My Hero Academia. Just Call Me Sue. Ribbit. Again, really, really cool, really vibrant there on the pop. They really do pop, pun intended. But yeah, like I said, these girls were lovely. Monica also plays Mira Jane from Fairy Tail. Welcome to the Fairy Tail Guild. Again, signed there in white pen to go, I guess, with her white hair. And then lastly, guys, we do also have Tia Ballard signing Happy. And I do have to say, and I'm going to sound like a massive simp here, Tia Ballard, not only super cool, super beautiful. A absolutely beautiful woman in real life. Actually, I say in real life, like in person, right? The funny thing is they did a panel, the 3 lovely ladies, you know, like an anime panel. For whatever reason, I didn't capture any footage of it. And there was a question asked, you know, are they watching any TV shows, movies, video games? You know, what video games are they playing, etc. And Tia actually said she was playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and thoroughly enjoying it at the moment. It's one of my favourite games of all time. So I was like, man, just marry me now. Yeah, I really am starting to sound like a simp right now, aren't I? But she signed my Happy Funko Pop there with I, Sir. And that way she also drew like this little picture of Happy eating a fish, which I thought was very, very cool. And then next, guys, I met Alec Goff, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who plays Alexei in Stranger Things Season 3. He was one of the like later announcements. I think he was literally only announced a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I did get my Alexei Funko Pop signed. No cherry, no deal. I think literally everyone asks him to write that there on his Funko Pop, which he did. Yeah, very, very cool, and a super cool guy. And an equally cool dude was Chandler Riggs, who plays Carl on The Walking Dead. That was actually a really, really poor impression, by the way. I did actually have the 7-Eleven exclusive Bloody Carl, and he signed it there. Again, he did ask me, do you know what, do you want like a quote or anything? And I really couldn't think at the time. I really poorly prepared myself when meeting these guests, and I said just pick something that you like, and he wrote I win, as you guys can see there. Got him to do it in the red pen as well. Some of these guests, they don't bring like the paint pens and things. They do just have like black Sharpies, and they're like, they don't really look very good on Funko Pop. So if you do ever go and get your Funko Pop signed, do make sure you kind of take some colour corresponding paint pens with you. They do work best. And last but certainly not least, guys, we did also meet Cameron Monaghan, who plays the Joker in Gotham, and of course voices Cal Kestis in the Jedi Fallen Order video game. I think he actually did like motion capture and whatnot as well, because the character very much looks like him. Yeah, very, very cool dude. Signed my Funko Pop, as you guys can see there, in white pen, and he also wrote May the Force be with you there on the side. He was one of the more popular guests. His line was always, one of, if not the biggest line at the con. He actually mentioned that the in terms of like the ratio of like signing Gotham merch versus Star Wars merch, it was about 50-50, which I was a bit surprised. I thought maybe Star Wars might edge a little bit, but Gotham was a very popular show. I actually only watched the first season. I still need to catch the last 4 seasons of it. He did also mention, because one of my gripes about the first Jedi Fallen Order was that it was just too short. Everything else for me was perfect. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but just too short. And he actually mentioned that, you're going to really love the next game then, because it's about 5 or 6 times as long. So I am really, really looking forward to that. But yeah, guys, this was not the only thing that we got signed by him, because the Professor also got his Cal Kestis lightsaber signed. He didn't really know where to sign it on the lightsaber itself, was a little bit worried it would get smudged and whatnot, so we actually decided to go on the top of the case. Look at that, guys, how cool. I'm just trying to make sure the light's not there. There we go. I think that's a good one for you. Yeah, a real kind of vibrant, real big signature there on the case. He also wrote, pardon me, "May the Force be with you" there as well. Yeah, like I said, super guy. I mean, we think this is super, super cool as like a display piece, and then you can open it up and see the wonderful lightsaber inside. And well, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. So first and foremost, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend with me here on the Geek Lounge. It is very much appreciated, and I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If so, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Drop some comments below. Did any of you guys attend Northern Ireland Comic Con? And if so, did you enjoy yourselves? And we have plenty more content on the way for you guys. I've got a bunch of Funko Pop parcels that I now need to catch up on, so we will be opening those up this week. We will be continuing our very own Star Wars celebration here on the channel. Star Wars themed content also dropping this week. In terms of Comic Cons, guys, I think I am going to be attending MCM London on the Sunday, and we are looking at possibly going to Liverpool in November. As I mentioned, Charlie Hunnam from Sons of Anarchy is there. I would love to get my Jax Teller Funko Pop signed. But yeah, guys, lots of content to come, like I said, so make sure you stay tuned for all of that and more. What is the easiest way to stay tuned? It's very simple. Subscribe. Hit, click, smash that subscribe button and enable those notifications so you don't miss out on any of that future content. Guys, thanks again for watching today's video, and we will see you on the next one. Peace out, nerds.